Welcome to Two Gals and a Glass Half Full. We are two physical therapists just trying to live healthy, most of the time, that is, and doing our best to see our glasses as half full. Some days that is so much harder than others. So we interview others more knowledgeable than us to teach us about things we don't know. This month, we're continuing our discussion on leadership, and I'm super excited to have Jessie with us today. But first, Dr. Jess, what do you have in your cup?
Well, today I'm still working on staying hydrated, and it's hot here in Florida, and it's summertime. So today I put some cut up cucumber in my water, and it's something that actually when Dr. Bobby and I were in grad school together in St. Augustine, there was this little Mexican restaurant that was downtown St. Augustine, and I had just asked for a glass of water, and it was infused with cucumber, and I didn't know that it was infused with cucumber because they just like poured the glass. And so I was drinking the water going like, what kind of water is this? And I had to ask the server, like, is there did you put something in the water? And they were like, oh, we infuse it with cucumber. And then ever since then, I've loved it. Yeah. So adding a little bit of cucumber to my glass. So Dr. Bobby, what's in your glass?
I am having, and I will, a Steez. I know there's T and an S and a Z after it, but it is a green tea type of tea. So I already had my water and my coffee, so now moving on to tea.
There we go. Staying hydrated. That's what it's about.
Yes.
Awesome. And today we have a special guest with us. This is Jessie Duncan. So Jessie, what is in your glass?
My glass is overflowing with, this is probably my third cup of black coffee. Nothing in it at all, but in my favorite Stay Humble and Hustle Hard cup. You can never have enough coffee over here.
Absolutely. I hear that. Yeah,
yep.
That's awesome. So Jessie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am currently a stay-at-home mom, and I started my adventure into Color Street. Man, it's been this is my fourth year. And I've never had experience with something so wonderful and a leadership position before. So this was all something new for me. I was a very low confidence person growing up, not many friends. So even the idea of being a leader scared me so very much. So it just kind of happened, and it kind of turned into one of my favorite things about this adventure that I've been on the last 4 years. And it's opened up so many things to myself and my family, things that I never thought I could ever do. I feel like I've kind of changed somewhat as a person, but I'm incredibly thankful for all of this whole opportunity and this world that I'm in today. It's definitely saved me over the last couple crazy years. That's for sure.
Yes. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit, like, how did you first start? Like when you started with Color Street, did you think you were going to be an entrepreneur? Like, how did you get started with all of that?
So I had actually dove into this world before Color Street, and I was doing something differently when I actually found Color Street. And it was kind of one of those things where I was my own best customer. I didn't know what I was doing. I did learn a lot of good tips and tricks from that experience, but I never had a teammate or anything like that. And when Color Street came into my life, it was shortly after I had my daughter. And honestly, I wasn't looking for something at the time. It just fell into my lap because it was something that I saw someone use. And I immediately was drawn to it and the ease of it and everything. And I just wanted to feel beautiful myself. So I was like, let's dive into this. I didn't have any intentions of it really going anywhere. It just kind of started happening, and leadership kind of happened. So I really didn't have any expectations when it started. So I don't know. I think it's kind of a blessing, because I feel like sometimes if you have big expectations and they don't turn out how you hoped, or vice versa. I don't know. I think it just kind of fell into my lap in the right time, and what happened was magical.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hard work on your part too.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah,
Definitely.
that's why it happens, right? You put the effort into it. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what are some of the strategies that you started implementing? Like, where did you're like, I don't know, it fell into my lap, and then clearly something then started happening.
Yes. So when it fell into my lap, again, it was right about the time when I was going to have to make a decision for myself and our family. Like, do I want to venture back into a job that I don't really enjoy? It's kind of one of those things where I just wake up every day, go through the motions just to get a paycheck. But then again, there's my daughter, who I would have to basically be working to pay for her to go somewhere else, for daycare or anything like that, which there's nothing wrong with, but being a new mom, that scared me. I didn't have any family members, that were available to watch her. And that would have ultimately have been my first choice. So that kind of became my driving force for all of this. Once I started into Color Street and started sharing it and seeing that, oh my gosh, people are excited about this. And all I'm doing is just sharing something because I love it. I'm not really, I have to say I'm like the world's worst salesperson. So the fact that I got here, I truly feel like it came from a place in my heart where I was like, okay, this is something I love. It's fun. It makes you feel good about yourself. Other people, the reactions when you see them trying it for the first time, it really hits home for you because you're sharing the love of something. So once I started seeing that happening, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I could maybe make ends meet with this business and be able to support my family and work from home. I mean, I had never even entertained that as an option, but definitely, I mean, being a new mom, your whole perspective on life changes, and you want to do everything you possibly can to make things work and raise your children like you wish. I mean, that's how I was. My mom was home with me when I was little, so that's kind of all I knew, and that's what I wanted to do too. So I guess that's kind of what became my driving force in my adventure in the very beginning. And I really do feel like when you truly believe in something and you are just excited by it, that radiates to your whole entire audience. So that's really all I did in the very beginning, was just share. And again, like I said, I feel like I'm not the great salesperson, the person that's shoving something down your throat. It's just, you want people to experience it too. So that's kind of where I started out.
Well, and I was telling, so when Dr. Jess and I were talking about leadership in general, and we've been talking about leadership isn't like you do this, you do that. Like, leadership is being yourself. And I think through what I know about you, and I've followed you and watched you, is like you're just you, and like I don't know, you do things uniquely that are like fun to watch and follow. And I am not even like on your team or in your business, but like I feel like a lot of times I learn from you and your ways and what you post and stuff. So I think that is a huge benefit for you.
Well, thank you. It's funny too, because I mean, honestly, I feel like I've made some of the best friends through this. I mean, like I said, growing up, I didn't have very many friends. Before Color Street, I had like one really good girlfriend, and she lives miles and miles away. And I still am the hermit type, but I've come out of my shell so much. And I think just being transparent and being open and showing people it's okay to mess up. And I think that's been the biggest part of once I started growing a team. And it was it was a blessing for me, because like I said, again, leadership scared me to death. And once people started showing interest in the product and the opportunity, I think the first person that ever did, I was kind of trying to talk them out of it, of joining my team, because I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And I think a lot of people that I've come across in this adventure have that same feeling. Like they don't know what they can do or what they're capable of unless they try it. Um, and then, yeah. So, I mean, my team just started growing, and I think that's the best thing you can do is just be yourself and convince others to do that also. And it's okay. We're all different.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty, is that we're all different, right?
Yes.
And if we were all the same, then it wouldn't be fun at all. If it's the differences, that's where we can really grow from each other, and that team that then is created is even that much stronger because of difference. I love when there's difference, because that's what, I'm going to come about something from one perspective and someone else is going to see something come in a completely different way, and it's probably fantastic. And then now we've got multiple ways of trying to get the goal achieved or get the message out or whatever it might be. And then you're going to resonate with so many other people that way. So difference is good. I love difference. And then I love mistakes. They're so uncomfortable. Every part of making a mistake is uncomfortable. That is where you learn the most, though, because of that discomfort and taking a step back and saying, what can I learn from that so that I don't do that again? That, if you can keep learning from that, is where I've really benefited a lot, even just with treating patients, right? I thought this was going to work, and it didn't. I didn't get the outcome that I was intending. And so taking that time to just reflect, resonate a little bit, and see something from a little bit of a different perspective, you're now going to see that time and again. You'll see that you're like, oh, I would have missed it 10 times if I hadn't made that one mistake. And now, because I know this information, it's going to help me with all of these other decisions. So was it really bad that I made that mistake? As long as no harm was done,
Right.
It's only made it completely empowered how my brain is going to process with future decisions that I make. So mistakes are good. Oftentimes that's where we learn the most. If you win all the time, then you're like, nobody wins all the time. Let's be real. So
that was nice though, right?
That'd be great. It'd be much more comfortable.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
But instead, we're going to be here in the discomfort.
Yes, and the discomfort is great, and that's another thing. Yeah, I've learned to kind of live there. It was so funny. Have you seen the movie Yes Man, the Jim Carrey movie?
Yes,
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't allow himself to say no, and
Right.
I watched that movie, and it was so dumb. But I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to actually say, you know what, when there's situations when I want to say no, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that, or that scares me, I'm going to make myself say yes. And it's the dumbest thing to be inspired by, but man, just trying it for a little bit, it's crazy what you actually can do. And I tell my team that all the time, like if you're making mistakes or if you're getting no answers, or if you stop there, then you're immediately going to be stuck. So I think that's one of the hardest things to convince people, though, that to keep going, and that's a good thing. But
I love the Yes Man. My favorite book is The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I don't know if you've heard of it. And it's about how we always say no to the things that are uncomfortable, to no to the things that scare us. And so she took a year to say yes. And I lost a cousin about 3 years, or August will be 3 years ago. And like after I lost her, or her death, like I was like struggling with how to deal with it. And like, it became my why of like, yes, I'm going to say yes to all the opportunities that come about that like she can no longer have. And I will tell you, it's the strongest like reason of a why, but I have done more in the last like almost 3 years than probably like the previous 15. And it's just because of like saying yes to those things that we're scared of. And leadership is definitely one of those. That was not my comfort zone. Like, be in the back, I'll just do the work, you can take the credit.
Right.
Yeah, and that year of yes that Bobby went through, I was hearing about all of the yeses that she was making and saying yes to. And it's, sometimes it's like, hey, I just need to tell somebody that I'm saying yes to this. I want to say no, but accountability wise, I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to tell you out loud. And that then influenced me, right? So she's putting herself out there. She's saying yes to stuff that's uncomfortable. And maybe I should do the same. Maybe I should say yes. Maybe I should look into things where I'm saying no just because it's uncomfortable or not the perfect time or the perfect this or the perfect that. And so it's funny how as each of us grow, we end up influencing the other people around us and in our personal lives. And then that starts to resonate further and further away. So hopefully that is it. That is leadership. That is it's being vulnerable. It's putting yourself out there. It's saying like, I'm willing to be uncomfortable. Will you stand next to me? Just like, you don't even have to like do much. Just stand next to me and see me. And just, if I like trip and fall, maybe just be there to like help pull the grass out of my hair, you know? Because I'm going to trip. I'm going to just like, can you just see me as I'm doing this? That's all. So it's nothing more than that. And I think the more we can do that with each other, hopefully the better we all feel and grow and become our true happy selves instead of just trying to survive each day. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So with your team, so let's just say you've got now these individuals that, you know, are working with you. What are strategies that you implement with them to try and help encourage them? And, you know, maybe they are in that phase of like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, how do you help get them out of their shell?
Right. I think that is hard a lot of times to convince people that they have what it takes. But I do think, like you guys kind of were leading into, like leading by example is huge. One of the things I like to do, I mean, I will go live on Facebook and do silly things. And I don't personally, I've gotten to the point where I like a live where I mess up and do something stupid because I want to make people laugh. So I don't care. I've gotten to that point in my life where if we all need happiness and more laughs and smiles in our life. So if that's what you wanted, if that's what makes your day, then fine. I'll go do the goofiest awful thing. But I mean, I definitely didn't come from this place. And I think telling people too that nope, like most people don't start where they're at. It's a whole journey the whole way, ups and downs and all the feelings. But I like to kind of share my first live that I did on social media in this field with the different company. And I actually was, I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was years ago. And I was in my bathroom because we had just moved into my house and there was just stuff everywhere. And I didn't have a place to go live, which is kind of still the same situation now, but I didn't have a place to go live without a bunch of clutter in the background. So I was in the bathroom. I was actually sitting on my toilet and I had the phone propped up and I must have sat there for a good like 30 minutes. Like, oh my gosh, my finger would get close to pushing the button, but I couldn't do it. And finally I just pushed it, I think on accident, but that person, that person that was speaking in that live video, it sounded like a completely different person. But I do remember, again, like I said, I remember this like it was yesterday. Once I was done with that, I felt so accomplished just to have done it. But it's funny just looking back, and I share that with my team often. And it's funny when I share that with them, they're like, I don't even know. I would not think that was the same person sharing. And I was like, see, we all start there and you just got to be brave enough to push the button, just to dive in. You're going to start sloppy. But I mean, if you wait for the right time and the right moment, when you feel like you have all the parts in place and you know exactly what to do, it's never going to come.
Right.
So I think telling them that, and just the whole time, just feeding them love and praising every little step that they take, whether it's huge or whether it's small, just being one of their biggest cheerleaders, I think has been the biggest thing that's helped my team. And I think that's what's formed these great relationships that we have. I mean, we've become such good friends, and
Yeah.
even outside of this business model, we're like cheering each other on and other things that we're doing. So I don't know. It's just, makes me all warm and fuzzy inside just thinking about it.
Well, that's awesome. And I love how you talk about like just starting where you are. And I can say for this podcast, Jess and I started in a hotel room. We had to reorganize the hotel room so we could like both sit in there. We had a glass of wine out of like plastic cups because like none of it was like planned. It was like, all right, are we going to try it? Let's try it. And like, I mean, it's only
there was like a screw cap on the wine bottle because we didn't want to pay for the wine opener. We bought it at a CVS down the street because we were too cheap to like buy a bottle of wine at a hotel. We're like, no way.
And it's just like, we watch us as like, I can even, just pressing that play button. And the very first time, like our whole thing was scripted, like our whole thing, and like watching as, that first episode to now, like we can see the growth in just that small time frame.
Right.
And so I get what you're saying with your first video, like watching back, being like, oh, but you push the button, you push the play, like you did it. So
yeah, and we leave that video up, right? We leave it there for everybody to see because that's real. That's real. Like we don't know what we're doing. We're totally just doing this one step at a time. There is information we want to share. We want to share this information. We want to bring up these topics. We want to let other people understand what has helped us. And we're just going to be vulnerable along the way. And it's going to be cringy sometimes. It just is. But it's not perfect. That's okay. We're all imperfect.
Yeah.
Very cool. So we've talked about the team, and I love that just positivity, like whether we're celebrating the smallest victory or a huge victory, all of them are victories. And I think one thing that we are not as good about ourselves, and I can speak for myself with this, is recognizing the small win. It's like somehow we are only allowed to be happy or feel accomplished or, whatever it might be, if it's just like really, really big win. However, it might be one thing on my checklist was accomplished. Maybe I have a checklist of 10 things that I was really trying to get accomplished and only one was accomplished. But guess what? That's one more than none. So why do I beat myself up if I only get one done? I even said it, only one. However, I did get one finished. I was one step closer to whatever this, task list might be. And I think that constant reframing, and if we can continue to help encourage others to think that way, all of a sudden you're just so much happier. And when you're happier, you're more fun to be around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as a mom, right? So now we're kind of tying in this like mom life and then work life. So what are ways that you trying to like, and you work from home, so this is tough, right? How do you mentally remove yourself, even though your physical space is the same? Like, what are your strategies for that?
Oh gosh, like transitioning from work life to mom life. Oh.
Yeah, no commute home, right?
No, you don't even get like a few minutes to like leave.
Yes. I think I'm definitely a work in progress on that area, but I think the biggest thing is, and my daughter, she'll be 5 next month. So as she's gotten older, this is kind of a fun period of time that we're in. But she's very interested in everything that I do, and especially the goofy stuff that I do. So she loves to get right in on things and help me. And the other night we were actually getting ready to put her to bed, and she's like, Mommy, she's like, I can't wait till I'm can be just like you and stay up and help you work and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. But I mean, it is definitely hard because I'm a workaholic and I love what I do. So kind of getting myself to stop sometimes is definitely hard. And like I said, I'm always working on that and being present, but I do think I'm very blessed to have a family that supports me and wants to be a part of what I'm doing too. So I feel like some of our family adventures and our family time is business related, but then I always do make a point to have days where we do our favorite things. Like hiking is something that my daughter and I love to do, which we went on a hike yesterday and I ended up carrying her half the way because she didn't want to walk in wet shoes and I couldn't feel my arms, but stuff like that where you can just unplug and be present. Like I have to force myself to put the phone away, put all the social media and technology away. And those are my moments to really like recharge. And I don't know. I mean, this takes a lot of brain energy and creativity and stuff like that. So you need to make sure you give your brain a rest. And those are some of the times when I'm out doing the most random things that I come up with some of the best ideas. And
Mhm.
it's still in the back of my head, but I'm trying to make a point to spend time in these precious moments with the family and stuff. And I'm sure my husband could tell you that I need to take more time off. But again, I think that's the beauty of finding something that you love. It doesn't feel like work to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely attest to very similar, right? So I've got two little ones, and my oldest is about the same age as yours. He turns 5 in September, and it's tough because I do really try and be present when I'm with them. However, it's like there are those things that are pulling you away of like, oh, I really like this is a very time sensitive matter and I need to get this email out, or I need to, whatever it might be, like maybe something's going on in the clinic and, I've got a staff member, oh my goodness, they're going to be out sick. We've got to make this plan now. And it can be really hard to like balance both of those and say, okay, like I hear you, I know I told you that we were going to do X, Y, or Z, and then it's like then I start beating myself up because I'm not present. And so it's it's just like this constant battle of being present with work, but then also being present with the family. And so one of the strategies that I've been trying to implement is I apologize that I need to do this. If you can just give me 5 minutes, we like maybe, and then try and like set him up with something, then I'm going to come back and then we're going to build that spaceship. And mine is going to be so awesome compared to yours. And we were going to totally have a galaxy fight. Because I've got boys. That's what we do. Yeah, all sorts of, who knows, right? Excavators and trucks and like major galaxy wars happen in our playroom. I mean, lots. Worlds open up.
Love it.
All right. But then I have to I literally put my phone in the other room. Like I can't even like hear that notification, and I'll send the message, hey, I'm in the playroom, like, which means like I'll be back out in just a little bit. And so it's just something that like physically, because I'm home, but still working. It's hard. It's so hard to like separate that space. But it's imperfect, and we are imperfect. And as long as I think we're trying, that's got to count for something. That's what I live by.
Yes, I know. I'm such a people pleaser too, that it's like, I don't want anybody to wait, whether it's, if I don't even know you or whether you're my child, like I don't want anyone to be, I want everyone to be served
Right.
At that moment, which I've learned to give myself grace over time. Because you can't sustain that.
No, because then you're not giving yourself anything, like you're always like giving out and like never taking in and receiving yourself to like then be creative and, as you said, have that time to think of all those awesome things you do.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, Jessie, we very much appreciate you coming on. This was, I think, very helpful when we're talking about leadership, is to realize that leadership looks like a lot of different things. It can be inside of a large corporation. It can be inside of your family. It can be work from home. It can be entrepreneur. It looks like anything and everything. And that's the real answer of leadership. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about Jessie, we will have information in the description of the YouTube episode with some links. So that would hopefully be helpful to our listeners. We also have our information in there. So links to our podcast, links to, and this is all in the YouTube description, links to our Facebook page, Instagram feed. And that way, if you find something helpful and you want to start to follow, we constantly are posting in there. We've got all sorts of different things. If we come up with something along the way, we'll do it. We'll send out a quick post. And then that way, hopefully people that are joining this journey of trying to live a healthier and more active lifestyle, whatever that might be for you, just this one step at a time, maybe that post resonates. So feel free to follow. We try and make it as positive as possible, and subscribe. That way you get the notifications when something new comes out. All right. So Jessie, we very much appreciate your time, and we look forward to the next episode. All right.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.